Okay, we're recording now, and I have my new machine out, and here's my truck, and here's the dogs. So today it is very nice. It is 52 degrees out here. There's sunflower. Come on guys, let's go. And today we're going to take a little different course here. We're going to go down by the bridge and the waterfall. Just the other day we had 4 inches of snow here, and then it warmed way up and rained for a day and a half. So anyway, this is of course Lunch Creek, but today we're going down to the ocean, which is a nice little, not very long walk, and then we'll take a trail or two down in the campground. It's a state campground. It has, I don't know, maybe 20 sites, camping sites. It's fairly spectacular. Okay, here's the fork in the road where if we go this way over here, we go up towards the lake. It's 4.5 miles up the mountain, a mountainside lake, and down here we're going down to the beach. To give you an idea of, make sure the trail, there's no ice. I don't think there's any ice left on the trail. It rained quite a bit. Come on guys. If on occasion there's ice on this trail, and you have to wear cleats is what you have to do. You can't be on this trail without cleats when there's ice on it. And of course we've been on it when there's been 6 inches of snow as well, which isn't too bad, but it's the ice that really makes the difference. So this is a beautiful, beautiful little path. I'll show you. You can start to hear the waterfall. And this is a salmon creek here. The salmon in late August, first couple weeks of September, we have red salmon come up this stream. This is my second outing with the my new camera and gimbal. We've only done one other video, and between Christmas and today the weather has been pretty bad. Here you can see waterfalls. There's several different waterfalls as the water comes down. This is a viewing platform here that you can view. some other people there. I tried to avoid taking their picture. And here you can start to see the ocean. It's about 100 yards from us. Going down another staircase. Wow, I just got a blast of warm air coming from someplace. Okay, here's the bridge. And this bridge was built by the Rotary Club here. And I know a few of these people. Stephen Schweppe, he was the city attorney for 24 years or something like that. He's a good friend. Anyway, the Rotary Club built this bridge. And here's the waterfall. Had a tree come down last spring, and it still hasn't been. The fishing game, they kind of let things be natural here, so that hasn't been removed. It will eventually break up. And then there's the water going out to the ocean. And this is all full of salmon in September. And then you got tons of seagulls. And you come here in the break of dawn, you're liable to see a bear out there fishing. Hang on to him good. I'm sure he'd like to have my dogs for lunch. Is he friendly normally?
She's pretty friendly. She likes to play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Somebody with a pit bull there. Luckily, the friendly pit bull on a leash, so that's. Don't like to see pit bulls around here, but lots of people still have them. Some people swear they're friendly, but they're unpredictable. So anyway, here's another path that takes you down. There's several beaches. There's, I think 4 beach areas here. They're small beach areas where when the weather gets warm, people actually go swimming here. When we first moved here in 1984, during the summer, we did go swimming Water's a little chilly for me, but I was able to tolerate it when I was younger. But I don't think I'd want to go now. So you can see down there what we have. And here we've got high tides, so there's not much beach to go down to today. In fact, we got real high tides. There's no beach to go down to. We have 22-foot tides here, and so there's a huge difference depending on when the high tide is in and when the low tide is in. Twice a year we have the annual low tide and high tide, and it's so low you can walk out a couple hundred yards into area that's normally covered with water. So it's pretty neat. Anyway, we'll continue. It's cloudy today, and so it's kind of dark. Kind of dark in the forest. And you'll notice that on the video here that it's not real bright. When it's sunny, it's absolutely beautiful because the sun feeds down through, is sifted down through the leaves of the trees. It makes for a kind of a magical atmosphere. Anyway, continuing on this path. We haven't been on this path for a while, since the fall. There's a path that goes up to, maybe we'll take the stair step to heaven here. Okay, we'll look at the beach here a little bit. Normally the beach is another 50 yards beyond the water, and it's kind of sandy and you can walk on the beach. Not sandy in the way we think of a Florida sandy beach, but kind of a rocky sandy beach. So, I'm going to be a little careful here. This is kind of unheard of to have 50. When I woke up this morning, it was 54 degrees. We had temperatures as low as 9 degrees not a week ago. So we had some strange weather here. Normally we don't get too many days below 20 degrees, and most of the time the temperature is between 30 and 40. But we've been getting some really weird swings in temperature. We had 4 inches of snow a couple of days ago, and as I said, it all melted. Thank God. Now that I'm older, I prefer no snow. So this is one, they got a trail going the opposite way, and instead of going the way we went, you could go the other way that goes through by the campsites and to other beach areas. You gotta be careful here. Okay. Yeah, no going to the beach today. The tide's way, way up. On the highest tide, it comes right up to the edge here. You don't even have any beach at all. But like I say, the tides can be as high as 22 feet. And then the low tide is a minus, I don't know, 5 or 4 or 5, so at 27 feet of variation. Okay, now, rather than continue down this way, we're going to take the Upper Lunch Falls Loop Trail. It should be named stairway to heaven, and you'll soon find out why. We're going to get a workout here. So this trail takes you up to supposedly a little viewing area of the falls. It's not very dramatic, but it is your legs get a lot of workout. This is a little rough here. Getting a little wind up here. I don't have any wind guard on the microphone, so I'm probably going to hear some wind. If you're not in pretty good shape, you probably should not be taking this trail here. First of all, there's no rails on these, so you have to have pretty good balance. It's a little wet, so I gotta be a little careful here. Carrying this gimbal and camera, I don't have the benefit of the balance of my right arm. There's some more steps. You can see our dogs. Sunflower's 13 years old, Violet's 12. They're still fairly spry. They can go on long walks with no problems. Which is pretty good because the average life of a Havanese is 14 or 15 years. That's it. So there's some more steps. And here's some kind of treacherous down steps. Okay, I'm going to switch hands here since there is a rail on this one. Okay, I'm back to holding the camera in my right hand. So we're kind of going up the hillside here. We're still a good 150 yards from the creek, so you don't hear it. More steps. More steps. You see the dogs, they can run up these steps still. Yeah, if you don't have good balance, this is definitely not the trail for you. And there's some more steps. Yeah, they should rename this trail Stairway to Heaven. I'm going to have to switch hands here. There's another stairwell that's with a handrail on the right hand side. A friend of mine, Norton Robbins, who I was in the Peace Corps with, he just bought the identical camera setup after hearing from me about how nice it is. So I'm kind of anxious to see some of his first videos. He lives in Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is gotta be the exact opposite of what it is here. Dry, hot in the summer. Here we have, last summer we had 3 days above 70. That was a maybe. Most of the time it was between 65 and 70 degrees. So if you like real warm weather, this is not the place to come even during the summertime. But if you're like me and kind of dislike hot weather, this is a very nice climate. More stairs. Your knees really get a workout here. Whoops. A little slippery there. You see, that's an old tree. That's a snag. It's a mostly dead tree, but it was humongous at one time. That could be 600 or 700 years old. Even though this area was extensively logged in the 30s, occasionally there's places where they didn't log and the trees are magnificent. Here's some birds. I don't see them, but I hear them. This is about the perfect temperature for hiking with a sweater on. I think it's 52 degrees right now. And I'm starting to get overheated. Yeah, it's pretty dark here. Yeah. Starting to get closer to the creek, and you can hear the water roaring. We have 3 state parks north of town. Not sure what we got on south of town. I don't know of any, but we got 3 beautiful state campgrounds that are pretty magnificent. Linda and I have been to a lot of campgrounds in our RV. The only downfall is to bring an RV up here now is very, very expensive because the ferries have doubled their rates on bringing RVs up here. So you don't see too many RVs coming anymore because it's just too dang expensive to put it on the ferry. Unless you're wealthy, you see a few people where money is no object, so that's cool. But not like you used to. But so that means that the 3 magnificent state parks that we have are almost reserved for locals. That makes it very nice because you're almost guaranteed to find a spot any weekend, even during the summertime. And a lot of people come out, we're 18 miles north of town, and they come out with their children to give their children a camping experience, which in my book is pretty wonderful here with the ocean, the creek, all the trails. And yet it's only a half-hour drive out of town. They use tents. Some people have old V's that they brought up that they don't care much about other than being able to come to the state park and with their grandkids or whatever. Now that's kind of funny. I just got another blast of warm air, almost like a furnace. So we got some strange thermals going on here. Okay. As you hear, we're getting closer to the creek. Dogs are a little cautious. They saw that pit bull there, but it was on a leash, and their owner was responsible. Plus, she told me that the female pit bull was very, very friendly, but You just can't trust them. So okay, now we're heading down. So if you thought the up was kind of hairy, the down is even worse. Alright, here's a little viewing area. Now that goes down to the bridge. There's several different cascading waterfalls. It's not all one. There's 3 or 4 step waterfalls. Okay. Get the gimbal oriented here. Alright. Okay. Oops. Fooling with the gimbal here, trying to get it figured out right. Alright, I think we're back in business here after fooling with the gimbal. And I want to chop that out of the video. Okay, here's some downward steps. Luckily it has a handrail for 15 feet. And then you have to be very, very careful because the boardwalk here is not in the best of shape, and it's slanted down the hill, and there's nothing to catch you if you lose your balance, which would not be good. So you have to be careful. There. We'll take a look at it going from below here. Yeah, that's what we just came down. Okay. Yeah, we've been gone 34 minutes here. And here you can see the water going down, and there's the bridge. And again, this creek goes all the way up to a lake that's 4.5 miles. Well, it was 4.5 miles from the junction up at the top. I got many videos of this area, but with either a cell phone or a sports cam with no gimbal. So the gimbal makes one heck of a difference in the watchability of a film, because if I didn't have the gimbal, it would be very jerky. Okay, we're back to where we met up to the pit bull, who was right here. And there's a log of people who visit here. And they write how beautiful it is here, because it really is. Okay, now we're going to head over to the campground. Another angle. There's another angle going into the ocean. Here's the stairway up there that goes up to the where we came down, and then it goes all the way up to the 4.5 mile lake, which you really have to be in pretty good shape to do that trail. The last 1.5 miles are pretty rugged. Plus, 4.5 miles up and 4.5 miles down, that's 9 miles. And here's another viewing area. Normally this will take you to a sandy beach out here, but we got exceptionally high tides here today, so the beaches are all covered. And you can see starting to get a little sunshine over there. I wonder if we're going to get it in here. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. I have a lot of people ask why we didn't move south. Why are we staying here for our retirement years? And all I can say is when we wake up in the morning, that's the view we see out our window. We live right on the ocean. In a very private setting. We have nobody can see our house. We can't see anybody else's house. And we have 127 foot of ocean front, which isn't a lot, but because of the setting of our house, it's almost like we got 300 feet of ocean front, because we own half of the, or part of the lot next to us, and nobody can build on it. So it's very private. Anyway, here's the campground. Here's the day parking for people who are here only during the day. Come here, come on. They say we're glad you don't have any big dogs.
No dogs here.
Perfect day for a walk. You ought to take the upper trail. Okay, we're entering the campground here, and because it's a nice day, hi. Are you doing still stuff, huh? Yeah. And people with their cameras out here probably got their camera equipment for Christmas, and this is the first time that weather's been decent enough to use it. Okay, so Here's a typically non-water campground right here, number 6. It's made for a large party here. And here's just a parking spot for somebody parking during the day. And here is a campground, one of my favorite campgrounds here because it's right on the ocean. I watch for cars going by. Okay, come on. Somebody's going to spend the day in that site. And that has a path out to the ocean and a bench out there on the ocean. That's a very, very nice spot right there. Number 8. Here's another one here. Number 9. And here's a cabin you can rent for 70 to 60, I think it's $70 a night now. It used to be like 40. And we have well water there. And here we come here, Violet, come here. Violet. People. So this is the cabin. I don't know, maybe I don't see a car here, so maybe nobody's here. But they have a path down to the beach here. And it's, you just take, they have benches in there to sleep on. And they have a kerosene furnace to keep it warm. So you need a sleeping bag and a pad to put under your sleeping bag and bring your food. They have a cooking place to cook. I don't see the tank here. I guess maybe they got it closed for the winter time. I don't know. I got a picnic table out here. So if you really want to get away from it all, but you don't want to do the tent thing, you can rent the cabin. Unfortunately, this is the only cabin in Ketchikan, the rent, so it's pretty well booked up for the summer 6 months in advance. So now I didn't take you around the rest of the campground, but there's probably 20 sites that are very nice. And here's a group where you can have a birthday party or celebrate your anniversary. And there's a beach over there. This is the primary beach that people go to sunbathe and swim in the water. And there's a lot more beach than you see because of the high tide. Normal tides, it goes out another 50 yards. So there's really nice. And then they have picnic tables all along the way here. So the people in town can come out on a sunny day and with their kids and bring their food and have a really nice time. Here's a picnic table up here. People want to be up high. Never seen anybody use it, but it's there. And there's the path going down to the beach area. And then you can see the shelter over there for if you're having a birthday party or what have you. And this goes up to a parking lot for this beach. And the ranger's cabin. There's a ranger here who lives here, which is, or used to. I think the the state budget's been cut so bad that that's over with now for the time being. But I got friendly with the last state custodian who was in charge of this beach, and he was a pretty nice guy. He was from Vermont. He actually was a volunteer. However, they do get assistance even as volunteers. So now we're taking the path up and around that ends up in the parking lot for this beach, and then we'll take the road back to where our car is. Now, they haven't made this a beach area here, but they can in the future. There's a beach, when the tide's out, there's a beach area over here. Well, the wind's coming up again, so we're going to get some wind noise in the microphone. Okay. Okay, we kind of encircled the campground. The custodial cabin is above the campground. And we only saw a few of the lots in the campground, or the spots, camping sites. Well, somebody's there, and the flag's flying. That's neat. So that's where the and he's got his boat with him. Where's he from? Let's see. Oh, another blast of warm air like a furnace, which is really strange. I haven't had that happen to me before. Land cruiser from, well, he's from Alaska. U.S. Air Force, retired. Cool. And you see he's heating the cabin with wood there, and there's his supply of wood. And here's an emergency telephone. If you've got a problem, cell phones, unless you're out on the water, don't work here. So that's cool. He's the camp host, I guess. So now this is the road coming into the campground where we actually camp. And as you can see here, it goes down, and the campground is in a circle, and you see the one road going to the right and the other return coming from the left. So it's a circle that I think has 20 campgrounds in it. It costs $10 a night now. It used to cost $7. So it's pretty inexpensive. Still is pretty inexpensive compared to a lot of state parks now. That when we go down south in our motorhome, they're $35 a night. Some are $40. On the state campgrounds, if you stay in the federal ones, you get a half price. So we try to stay in the federal campgrounds as much as we can. There's another stream over to the right here coming down, and there's one to the left. So this road's built between two streams. This has been here quite a while because it was here in the 80s when we moved here in 84. But it wasn't. The campsites were pretty undeveloped. And I don't even remember if they charged you for them. I think it was just free. they didn't have water and they didn't have outhouses. So it was pretty rustic, but it was still beautiful. But now it's really nice since they have outhouses and they have potable water and they have emergency telephone. Last winter, I made this loop. I didn't go up the 1,000 staircase, but I made the loop and we had like 18 inches of snow on the ground. And it had warmed up and the snow stuck to my dog's fur like you wouldn't believe it. They were like snowballs. And trudging up this hill here, I thought if I'm going to have a heart attack, it's going to be right now. I ended up carrying both dogs with me, going through 18 inches of snow, and finally made it to the road up here where I could walk in tracks and car tracks. But they hadn't plowed this road, hadn't done any plowing at all. So it was one of my big mistakes I've made. It turned out all right, but okay, now we're heading down the road to finish end our trip here. I can't believe how warm that air is. We have some strange weather here. In 1985, 86, the ocean channel out in front of Ketchikan, where the cruise ships come in, it's a pretty wide channel and deep. Actually froze solid. You could walk across it. We had below zero weather for 2 weeks straight. First time that had happened in 50 years, and it hasn't happened since. It probably will never happen again. To have the ocean water actually freeze like up in the Arctic. You gotta remember, the ocean water is, I don't know, 5% salt or 4% salt, something like that. So it's to have the ocean freeze is pretty dramatic. But that hasn't happened since, and since that time the weather has gotten incredibly warmer here on average, as it has. And we used to live in Fairbanks, and then for 6 years, and we lived in Anchorage for 5 years. So now the temperatures up there are in Anchorage are like Chicago. Chicago actually is probably colder than Anchorage is now. So the climate change is very real and accentuated up here in Alaska. They've had to move native villages away from the coast because the coastline, the ocean has risen and flooded out the areas where their old town used to be. So if you want to witness climate change, all you have to do is come to Alaska. Anyway, so there's our truck, and that's the end of the road, which is 18 miles out of the city limits of Ketchikan. And there's a mountain, and on the other side of that mountain is a lake, and that's the lake that feeds that beautiful Lunch Creek. It's bigger than a creek. Most of the time it's a roaring creek. This ought to have another category between creek and river. Hey, get out of there, whatever that is. Okay, so we're coming in. I'm going to shut the camera off here as soon as I get to the car. Okay, I gotta get my keys. And shut off my camera. Okay. Alright, that's the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it.